Okay, quiz time. What's rectangle and consumes about 7 hours of your time daily? If you guessed a cell phone, you're absolutely correct. On average, Americans or people consume 7 hours and 3 minutes of cell time, screen time. And this takes me right into the last form of media for advertising, mobile advertisement. We're going to talk about why mobile advertisement is so key to the whole marketing strategy for a company. Let's go. You're listening to Marketing Adventure, the hub for business, fashion, marketing, and other CTE educators who integrate marketing into the learning experience. I'm your host, Jackie Walker. Each week, I'll cover marketing education concepts, strategies, tips, trends, frameworks, and other information to equip you to connect your classroom to digital natives while cultivating an engaged learning environment. So come on into the room where your favorite beverage, snacks, and even your cell phone are all welcome. So as I mentioned before, our last form of media is mobile advertising. Now, this does mean that we're going to talk about the phone and the various ways in which advertising is done through the actual cell phone and mobile apps. So mobile advertising basically focuses on mobile users through text messages, apps, video, and mobile games. I'm going to highlight a few key things about mobile advertising first before I get into the details of the various types of mobile advertising. So it makes up about 65% of total internet advertising revenue. 65%, which means that it is a must for a company or a brand to use mobile advertising as a part of their marketing strategy. It increases engagement. It also is very cost effective, which makes it even better for your advertising budget or just your overall operations, especially if you're a small business. And it's one of the most sought out forms of advertisement. It's very effective in the way that you can reach your potential customers, and it's very social media friendly. Consumers respond to the ads much better. It is growing in numbers as far as how much consumers respond to ads from their mobile phones as opposed to any other type of media. And as I stated before, it's a very integral part of a advertising campaign. So let's get into talking about the various types of mobile advertising. Now, there are 4 types of mobile advertising. The first type that I'm going to speak about is app advertising. Now, how many apps, if you looked at your phone right now, how many apps do you have on your phone? And tell me, how much space are those apps taking up in your storage? I know when my storage gets full, besides my photos and my videos, apps are like a close second as far as how much storage it takes up on my phone. So app advertising is very big. Companies pay a lot of attention to that. And basically, the app advertising allows developers of the various apps to earn money from the apps that are displaying ads. These can include like in-app ads. It could be Google ads if if you have the Google ad app on your phone, or it could be App Store optimization, which is another thing that we won't go into detail about, but that's just the various ways of apps being available or made available or even advertised to you. Now, let's talk about in-app advertising. So in-app advertising is when the developer and an ad buyer, someone who wants to place an ad, they partner and agree on a programmable ad that can be placed in the app itself. So I don't know if when you go to your store to download, like your cell phone store, to download an app, sometimes you'll see the little disclaimer that says apps or ads in the app. So if it's a free app, more than likely, there's going to be ads that pop up in the app as you're viewing things. So they'll have to make that little disclaimer so that you'll know there are going to be some ads playing here. Now, apps that you pay for, those generally have fewer or no ads in them because you're paying for the app. But developers are like, if we're going to give this to you for free, we're going to make money somehow. And that's why you have a lot of companies or developers or apps that are pushing you download our app because they want you to have the app so they can make money off of the ads that are being played in their app. Now, there's ad network. The ad network uses algorithms to deliver the ads. So just like when you're on a social media platform, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, there's an algorithm that lets the developers know what ads they should send your way based upon demographics, what you're looking at, and different things of that nature. Now, with an in-app ad, it's most likely going to be in a banner format that goes across the page, or it could be an interactive video that gets you to engage with the ad. So that's pretty much all about the app advertisement. It's ads that are within an app, regardless of what the app is. Now, the next form of mobile advertising is text messaging. Now, I began to notice maybe 3-4 years ago that some of my the people, the influencers that I was following would begin to say, hey, text me, and you can become a part of my group, or you can be the first to hear about this or that. And I was like, that's interesting. And I'll tell you that there was an upkick in people using text messaging for advertisement when the social media platforms shut down. I don't remember what year it was. I know it's just a few years ago, but Facebook and Instagram were down all day long. And a lot of people who use social media were losing business because they weren't able to engage. They weren't able to reach out to people and, make their money through social media, especially a lot of like the MLMs, or influencers. And so brands begin to use text messaging. Now, text messaging advertising allows them to collect information. And this is another thing, because when you have friends or followers on social media platforms, that information is kept by the platform itself. You do not have access to people's phone numbers, emails, or anything like that. And so a lot of companies and brands move to text messaging because what they would do is say, text me at this number and you can become a part of my group. You'll be the first to receive a message, etc., etc. So what happens is when you send a text message to the number that's provided, they would generally have something that may come back to you requesting for your email address or what have you. But they definitely have your phone number and your name because you've texted them, which opens up information to be released to them. And so they then start sending you messages about various things. I know I have one influencer who has a handbag company right now that sends me messages I wouldn't say, maybe once a week, about her sale or her upcoming drop of her new accessories that she is releasing, and or she just could be promoting something seasonal or a sale that she may have going on. So she sends me a text message, and I receive text messages when I join certain types of groups, generally that I've paid for membership in, and I receive text messages from them. So text messaging has become a highly sought out way for brands and companies to promote to their audience. Now, it allows them to communicate, like I said, about sales, promotions, and other relevant information. And it relies on them maintaining this database of information about their audience. It's a great marketing tool that helps build brand awareness and help you really reach your sales goals. And it's personable. It's more personable. When you receive that message, you're like, oh, I'm a part of that group. And especially if depends on the context of the message or the how it's written, then it could be like they're sending you a personal message. If they're like, hey girl, I have a sale coming up, don't want you to miss it. I'm like, oh, she sent me a message. So text messaging has really become a really significant way to reach out to your market in your audience. And it's definitely something that you don't want to leave out of your marketing strategy. Use it in combination with other things that you're doing, and you're sure to grow your audience and increase your revenue. So now one tip is to send a text message survey to your customers to gauge their satisfaction with your products or your service or your support, and then use that feedback to improve your business. So that's one of the big tips that brands and companies should take away from using text message advertising. So in a nutshell, text message advertising just allows you to connect with your audience more personally, and to have access to the data should anything happen, any of the social media platforms go down, emails, servers not working or what have you, you have your text message list that you can send a message out to and not be bothered by any other technology. Alrighty, so now our next one is video advertising. Now, video has become king of advertising on the mobile in the mobile format. All right, so marketing strategy for use of video basically is to keep videos short and engaging, and they're little clips that you just want to use to promote products, services, or your brands. So now video as we know it is distributed through all of the social media platforms. But what I want to do is just give a little bit of a history about how video has come along over the decades. Now, based on resources that I've found through my research, the very first commercial ever video recorded was back in 1941, and it was only 10 seconds long. Now, if you go back and look at commercials back in the day, they were longer than 10 seconds. But this very first commercial was 10 seconds long. And let me tell you, we've come back around to that short form of video. Stories used to be like 15 seconds, and then they expanded to 30 seconds, and now they're, I don't know, 90 seconds long. A reel, used to be just limited to 90 seconds, and now you can do reels for, longer than that now. But anyhow, just getting back to the history of it. 1941 is when the first commercial came out. And then video commercials gained popularity in the 50s and the 60s. And that era was called the golden age of video or commercials because the brands actually controlled the TV programs. The brands basically paid for the programming of the shows that were on TV. And those are the brands that you would see in the commercials all of the time. And then it gradually grew to a point where YouTube came out, and that is your long form video that now has become more shortened, and they've gotten into this short video game where they have their shorts that they now have on YouTube. And I just remember when shorts came out for YouTube, it was very questionable as to whether it was going to do well, because you had TikTok, you had Instagram, Snapchat, and then Reels with Facebook. So YouTube decided they wanted to get into that game of short form video, and it seems to be doing pretty well. Now, previously, ads were limited to TV, radio, classified ads, and computer screens, but now it's become more mobile because of the social media platforms and all of the apps that are now available to users through their phone. Now, this brings me to 2013, when social media platforms really began to grow. And Vine, does anyone remember Vine? Vine was the very first platform that gained popularity with video. And for what I understand, Vine was owned by Twitter. But now, after Vine, Snapchat, Instagram, all of those came out and took over the short form video platforms. Again, after Vine, platforms like Facebook came out. They had video sharing options in which ads were included on those videos. Snapchat came out with an option to post videos to stories for 24 hours and then it go away. That became very popular, so popular that Instagram copied it and started using it on their platform. And so came video ads. I don't know if you all noticed this, but sometimes you have an ad pop up in your stories. But for sure, on the platforms, ads do come up in your timeline. As you're scrolling through your timeline, all of a sudden you'll see an ad for something. And sometimes when I'm doing that, I have to stop and look, and I'm like, oh, that's not the person. Because like if I'm on an actual person's page and I'm scrolling through their page and looking at their post, sometimes, I mean, not sometimes, all the time, ads pop up and I have to stop and look, and I'm like, oh, that's not one of their posts. That is an ad that has been integrated into the feed. And that's how companies and brands are using advertising through video. They're using it as a part of their strategy to sponsor ads. And what happens when they sponsor an ad? They have to pick certain things about their audience, the people that they want to see this ad. It could be the age range. It could be, various things about that group of people, that target audience, that they put in their selections when they're creating their ad. And so if you fit that particular audience, then you could be targeted for an ad to show up in the feed that you're looking at, or even to just show up in your timeline. Now, of all the social media platforms, TikTok was the last one to become a part of this video game, and they've done very well with it. And you see TikTok ads, you have TikTok shop, you have all of those things. So all of the platforms, they've taken video advertising and they've incorporated it into their business strategy in their own way, but they all seem to be doing pretty well. And any company or brand basically chooses the social media platforms that they want to use to do video advertising on. And if they're really about reach, then they will try their hand at all of the platforms and just see which ones their audience is really on and which ones will work best for their company and their brand. So that's when they use the insights and the data information that they can collect from those different platforms to make those determinations. But video is king when it comes to advertising. Now, the last form of mobile advertising is mobile game advertising. We can't talk about mobile advertising without talking about mobile games, because what do people play on their phones half of the day? I know so many people who are glued to their phones because they're playing games. Um, they're playing games. They're doing Tetris or whatever games rather. I don't know, because I cannot get sucked into it because I don't want to become addicted. But the games are key places to put advertising. And basically, what game developers do is they earn money by ads being placed in their gaming apps, like I was speaking about before, in-app advertising. But this is specifically gaming advertising, and they put those apps in their games, and the goal is to draw the attention to the ad without interrupting the player's gaming experience. Now, this has become a very, very popular choice for ad campaigns because so many people play games on their phones, especially when we're talking about millennials and the younger generations. But we're not going to forget about the older generations either, because some people are spending their leisure time, you know, plugging away at those games on their phones. I mean, so people are addicted to their phones. And this can deliver up to 12% uplift in purchase intent. So companies can really increase a person's possibility of making a purchase by putting an ad in their games, in the game apps. As I research, I began to see how much money is really being spent on mobile game advertising. I mean, it's projected to reach 130.9 billion by 2025. That is up from 46.7 billion in 2021. That is like tripling the amount that's being spent on ads for games. Now, with that being said, it's also said that 93% of media buyers, these are people who are actually buying space in the media outlets for ads, 93% of them plan to include in-game apps in their ad campaigns. And when we do speak of ad campaigns or mobile game advertisements, there's two types. There's your static type, which is integrated into the game during the development of the app. And then you have your dynamic ads, which are banners that are displayed across the screen of a game and can be updated from time to time. Now, as I round out this discussion on mobile game advertisement, I'll just talk about a couple of benefits for the developers and for the advertisers. Now, for the developers, it generates revenue for them. Of course, that's why they're interested in having ads run in their apps. And it also boosts in-app purchases, and it enhances the user experience, and it also increases engagement and retention. So those are four things that developers benefit from mobile game advertisements. Now, the advertisers themselves get to increase their brand reach. It's easy to measure their return on investment, and it's brand safety, and it also boosts engagement for their target with their target market. So those are some benefits from mobile game advertising. Just to recap, the four different types of mobile advertising is in-app advertising, text messaging, video advertising, and mobile game advertising. I hope this has been very beneficial to your learning, and I hope that you've really gained some valuable information from going through all of these various forms of advertising. Now, before I go, I do want to mention, as I've said before, a marketing strategy. Every company needs a marketing strategy. And in this strategy, that means that you are going to create a media mix. So your strategy is going to consist of, hopefully, more than one type of media. And when you do use multiple types of media as a part of your marketing strategy, that is called your media mix. So it's a blend of the media that you want to communicate a message to the target audience. Having that right media mix allows you to more effectively and efficiently reach and engage with your target audience. You have to make sure that the media suits the size and type of company that you have, and then consider the costs related to the budget that you have to spend on the various forms of media, and then combine types of media that support and strengthen the overall advertising campaign that your company or brand is going for. So those are just things to consider as a part of the media mix. And just to make sure that we we review all of the types of media forms. You have your broadcasting, you have outdoor signage, print media, email marketing, internet marketing, product placement, merchandise packaging, social media advertisement, and mobile advertising. I hope this has been very valuable to your lesson here. And I do thank you for joining me here at Marketing Adventure with Jackie. I do want you to come back because now we're going to move into another promotional mix element, and that's going to be sales promotion. Have a wonderfully blessed day. Thanks for listening to Marketing Adventure. Remember to subscribe, rate, review, and share this episode with someone you think would benefit from the information shared here today. If you have any questions or want to connect with me, find me on Instagram at Marketing Adventure. All links and resources discussed in this episode can be found in the show notes at marketingadventure.com.